For this animation tutorial, I have gone through and I have turned off all of the opacity keyframes for making the wings animate. This tutorial is going to focus on making the bird actually fly. Now, the fact that I've got two wings and one bird body that have to go together in the animation means that I have to consistently always work with all three of these layers: my wing down, my wing up, and my bird. And you will notice if you come over here and you look at those keyframes, you will see that they line up perfectly with the red line so that everything is happening at the same time. And right now all we're seeing is position and scale. But position is really the one that I wanted to focus on for this tutorial. And I'm going to go all the way back to the first frame, and I just moved the time slider instead of using the first frame key in the time controls. And you'll notice that position and scale both start at 0, 0. And then as you scroll or scrub through the timeline, and then you watch up above in the composition, up here, watch the bird here, you'll see how it is coming up in a bit of an arc. I'm scrubbing back and forth across the timeline. And then it flies fairly straight through the basket handles. And then it begins to arch up and scale as it flies off of the page. A little more interesting with the wing beats, but if you can't do the wing beats, don't worry about it. An animatic, if you're in my class, an animatic is really not something that would require the wing beats. Okay, that's for if you want to hot dog it a little bit. I'm okay with that. And that is going beyond the scope of an animatic, but that's okay. It's still not full animation because we're just turning layers on and off. Okay. Anyway, so you can scrub back through. So let's take a look at these keyframes. Okay, when I click on one position, I need to hold down the Shift key and click on the word position for each of the three things that I want to keep together. All right. Then I'm going to scrub across, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key, and instead of clicking on the word position like I did the first time, you'll notice I switched it up on you a little bit, and I held down the Shift key and I clicked on the individual keyframes that I want that are lined up vertically with the red time indicator line. Okay, and you'll notice that this is the center portion, and for those of you who understand Illustrator or the pen tool, you may recognize these little handle things here as Bezier curves. Notice as I move that around, it's bending. Okay, it's bending that line. And that line is just a visual tracer so that you can see the path that your item is taking. Okay, and then you'll see these keyframes down here, but ignore these for right now because those are just for scale. Okay, and well, just out of, it's kind of interesting if you notice it stays very slow for scale. Over here you can see scale at the very beginning for all three of these is 26%. And then as I scrub the timeline to get to that second keyframe for scale, you really need to learn how to see what you're looking at. You will see that it goes up to 30.6% on the second keyframe, and this one's for scale. This keyframe here is for position. Okay, it gets kind of confusing. So you need to pay attention to which one you're on. Not only do you need to pay attention to which layer you're on, you need to pay attention to which transform aspect of which layer you're on. And if it's things that are meant to go together, then you have to animate them simultaneously. Alright? That gets a little bit crazy. That's why you can move the size of these windows around so you can see more or less. Okay? And I'm trying to do this too so that I'm missing that lovely screen flow demo or whatever it says across the middle of the movies until I can actually purchase this product, or more accurately have the school purchase this product for me, because I like the way it works. Anyway, back to position. I'm scrubbing over to the end. Here is my position, and you will notice that the numbers are not exactly the same. When I click on this keyframe for position, you can see the numbers over here, and this is for the wing down. If I scroll down a little bit, choose the next layer down, these numbers are different. Alright, and then for the bottom keyframe here for scale, or excuse me, position, for the bird body, these numbers are yet again a little bit different. Okay, and that just has to do with the anchor point, and I haven't talked about anchor point at all during this course, and I probably won't. If you want to play around with it, feel free. It just means where is the center of this picture, or where, if it's not on the center, where does it live? Okay, and it's the point from which it does the calculations. I wouldn't worry about that if I were you. Anyway, so all I did was the only thing that's truly scary, the only difference between this and the animation for creating the snow is that it goes more or less horizontally. You can see that it starts here and ends up off of the picture over here. And yes, you can animate things completely off of the picture. And the thing that's really different is the center keyframe, where I currently have the time slider positioned. You can see it's running through those keyframes. So I have this one currently selected with those lovely Bezier curves to give your track a nice curve. Now, the Bezier curves you may have to do individually. Alright,